Alright guys, so I've seen a lot of you guys comments concerning you guys requesting me to make a new updated version, like another update video for the YY. So this is what my controller looks like. I play with the PS5 normal controller, not a pro controller, just a normal default controller. So if, as you can see, if I click on triangle, it's just normal. If I click on R2, L2, it's just normal. Everything works like a normal default controller. But when I open my DS4 windows, you notice that anytime I click on triangle right now, okay, as you can see, my controller just connected to DS4. Anytime I click on triangle, it works as L2. And anytime I click on L2, this is what I spam my YY for. So as you can see, just one click, you can see how it's spamming the YY. So if you don't know how that works, I'm going to be showing you how you can set that up. So it is far more easier when you set up your YY as L2, when you put your YY as L2, because if you don't do that, you can't be clicking on. It's only if you want to. It's only if you play with what did they say call this stuff? I don't know. People that play with thumb or wherever they call it, that plays like this. But it's not really still convenient. The best way for you to put your YY is for L2. So you just have to hold it down and you just have to get used to it, literally. So that's where I set my YY. So I'm going to be showing you how you can set up the YY real quick if you don't know how to set YY up on your controller. And also, if you're wondering how do I even play it up, this is my triangle. So my touch, this touch pad, right, as you can see, as I'm moving it, is moving my controller. That's what I set. If I click on this part, that is my triangle, as you can see. So this is what I hold down to play it up or to switch my weapon. So it's as easy as that. Let me just show you my YY in my firing range real quick. So let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you see, if I just click on this, you can see it's YY automatically by itself. If I click on this, it switches the weapon. And what was again? And if I click on triangle, this is to throw my steam or my stun or wherever. This one is to actually use my steam. So this is what I press to use steam, or if you set up as blast trap or mine, this is what you press. So I'm going to be showing you guys the best YY settings and for the best settings for you to get like aim assist and stuff like that. It's been a while I made a video concerning Warzone because I actually took a break from Warzone because of too much hackers. But right now I'm back and I'm going to be making more content on Warzone. So first of all, let me just show you how you can set up your YY on your controller. If you're playing on PS4, PS5, wherever controller, it doesn't really mean. So you just have to come, when you enter your DS4, this is what it's going to look like. So it's going to look like this in default. So this is going to look like in default. So what you just need to do is just to add to profile, and you'll be creating a new profile. Let me just make this bigger a little bit. Then you'll be creating a new profile. So you just click on new, and you click on new. Then once you click on new, you click on yes. And also, if you ask you do you want Xbox 360 or DualShock? For me personally, I prefer to always use Xbox 360. You can use DualShock, but I recommend you use Xbox 360. So once it is on Xbox 360, you click on apply. So it's going to look like this. Then you have to click on profile. Then you can name it wherever name you want to name it. But for this, I'm just going to call it subs YY. So YY for my subscribers. And I'm going to click on save and apply. Okay, you can click on apply and save wherever. Then once you click on save, it's going to show you this. Note, you must always click on this default, then you switch it to the new profile you just made. So this is the new profile I just made, which is sub YY. So basically my controller is as default like this, is as default, it does not really have any YY on it. So what you're going to click on next is click on edit. Then it's going to show you all this. Then what you're going to click on is YY. You can either choose to put your YY still on triangle, but I won't recommend you to put your YY on triangle because it's not when you are kind of playing, when you are kind of moving and you want to be holding YY, it's not easy for you to hold YY and want to aim when you want to switch. Like, it's not easy, honestly. If you set up the YY and you're using it, you kind of understand. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. So the easier way is for you to put your YY on L2. So you just have to get used to it and stop using L2 to drop, to use your steam, and you'll be using your triangle to steam up. So I'm going to show you how you're going to set that up right now. You're just going to click on L2 and you're going to click on record macro. Then you'll be checking up. You click on the check mark for record delay, and for the play once, you change it to repeat while head. You're going to click on record. Once you click on record, you must not mistakenly press anything on your controller or keyboard. So what you're going to do is to click on triangle 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So once it's done, you're just going to click on stop. And these values that you see here, you can change it to wherever value you want, but starting from 20 downward. But for this video, I'll be using 5. I'll be using 5. I'll be using 5, 6, 5, 6 for everything. 5, 5, 6, then 6 again, then 5. So if you check 5, 6, okay, I didn't change this, then 5, 6, then 5. Yeah, once it's like this, doesn't really have to be these numbers. It can be 10, 10, 10, everything, but you can just leave it like this. And just going to click on save. So once you click on save, you have basically set up your YY on your L2. So you can test that real quick by going to your firing range and you click on this. As you can see, it is working. It's as easy as that for you to set up YY on your controller. So like this, by you having the YY set up like this, you won't be able to play top if you enter a game. So you must come over back to your DS4, then you'll be clicking on triangle. So for this triangle, you basically make your triangle be L2 now. You know, right now you can't use L2 because on your L2 you have recorded a macro on it, which is to repeat triangle. Then so you're going to make your triangle work as L2 now. So once you click on triangle, so I'm just going to show you what I'm just going to click on triangle, and I'm going to, for that triangle, I'm going to click on L2. So anytime I click on this triangle, I'm trying to break it down as easy as like a small child for you guys, because a lot of people don't really understand how macro works. They'll be like, after they set it up, they can't play it up, they can't do this. So I'm trying to break it down like carefully for you guys. So once you click on the triangle, then your triangle is set up as your L2 now. So once, I can't actually do this right now because I'm in firing range. In firing range, you can't use steam or you can't throw bomb. So that's why I'm unable. But anytime I click on triangle right here, if you look at it on the controller on the screen right here, if you see, if I click on triangle, it is repeating as L2. So if you look at this right now, if I press on this button, oh my days, I'm doing something else. All right. If I press on this button that you're seeing right here, you can see it's literally doing nothing. I don't know, it's literally meant to do nothing, but I'm just going to show you what you're going to set. So this button, you're going to make this button works as your triangle now. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're just going to click on this button on screen, then you record, you're going to click on triangle. So anytime I click on this button now, you see it registers as it won't be shooting anymore. It registers as triangle. If I come back to my firing range, you see that if I press the button, it works as switching as gun. So that's literally all you need to do to set up your YY. So like this, you already know, anytime you click on L2, it works as YY. If you want to switch your gun, you use this finger to switch your gun. You always use this finger to switch your gun or wherever finger you want. And if you want to steam up, you press triangle. Like, it's even far more easier to steam up. Like, when you are playing. As for me personally, okay, I didn't mention this. I use L1 and R1 to shoot because that's actually the best. If you play this game very well, you know that L1 and R1 is the best for shooting in this game. So if you know you don't use L1 and R1 for shooting, you can use the L1 to do your YY. So anytime you click on L1, it's going to be your YY. So you just kind of make it, instead of using the L2 as YY, you make your L1 the YY. So that's what I'm just trying to, like, for those that are using R2 for shooting, because I'm sure majority of everyone is using R2 and L2 for shooting. Like, that's the default for shooting. So if you don't know that, if you don't still understand that, I can actually make another video for you guys personally that I use R2 and L2 for shooting. So I think that's all for the YY. So if you're trying to get an aimbot, like aim assist on your controller, it's actually legit. It's not like a scam or anything. So I've not even actually installed the software on my PC yet, but I'm just going to install it right now because I actually erased my PC. So I'm going to be installing it right now. So what you just need to do is to, and again, this software is not going to get your account banned or anything. Let me just show you the usefulness of the software real quick. So if you come over to your DS4 Windows, it's actually, what the software does is it actually removes input delay. If you don't know what input delay is, like when you are shooting, like when you click on R1, it's not going to take like a second. Like immediately you click on R1, it's going to, I don't know how to explain it, but it's going to work immediately. So if I come over to my controller readings, you'll see I'm having input delay. So you can see this stuff shaking is because I'm having input delay. I've not set up that software on my PC. So what you're going to do right now is to come over to Google, then you search for HID USBF, HID USBF. Then you are going to see this GitHub. Then you're going to click on the GitHub, which is a lot of mine. Then you're going to download this GitHub file. I'm just going to click on I'm going to download the zip file. So once you have this downloaded, you can just click on show in folder, and you can just copy this folder. If you don't have the extract, so as for me, I don't want to do the stress of extracting. You can just copy the folder. Excuse me. Then you can just literally paste the folder anyway. But as for me, I'm just going to paste that folder in where I have my PS4 Windows. Alright, so once you're done extracting the folder, you just come over to HID USBF, then you click on the driver, then you're going to click on this HID USBF again, then you click on driver. So you're going to see all these. You're going to click on the setup. So once you open the setup, I'm just going to open the setup real quick. And it's going to ask you, just going to click on yes. Top file. This is what it's going to look like. Then you're going to change this mice to all. Once you change this mice to all, this is what it's going to look like. Then you will see a part where it says dual sense wireless controller. So you're going to click on that dual sense wireless controller, and once you click on that, you're going to mark the filter on device. Then you're going to click on yes. So once you do that, you're going to change this default to 1 to 8000. So once you do that, then you're going to click on install service. So once you do that, this stuff should turn to yes. I think it has turned to yes already. So I think that's all you need to do to remove the input delay. So if you see that, if you go back to my PS4 Windows, right, so yesterday, if you notice, we checked the time, you will notice that I was recording this video by 4:12 a.m. So I was having this weird issue yesterday for some reason, because I'm actually using Windows 11 Pro. So for some weird reason, I keep on getting that error code. So the way I was able to fix it, if you even notice, I'm making a voiceover, because while I was recording this video, I didn't know that I didn't even turn on my mic. As you can see, my mic was in red. So you have to just come to search, you just have to search up this core isolation in your search button, and you have to turn this memory integrity off. So once you turn the memory integrity off, this HID USBF should work fine. So that's just all I needed to add in this voiceover. After I made the subs YY, like after I ended the video, I made a video concerning showing how I recorded a macro on this L2, on this R2. So recording a macro is the same process. You just have to click on the R2, then you click on record a macro, then you click on repeat while head, and you click on record delay. Then you spam on the shooting button wherever you use for shooting. As for me, I use R1. You spam on it 3 times, and after you change the number to 10 ms, then you click on save. So that way you will have macro on your shooting. But as for this one, is in default. I use this one for my shooting, and I use this one for my shooting macro. So for my L2, for my right now, as I have recorded macro on my R2, I don't have an R2, so I made this button my R2. So anytime I click on this button, I would just press this. So anytime I click on that button, it's going to register as R2, which is the right trigger. So this is my R2.